Alright guys, Kremp again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. With all the OpTic roster drama over the last couple of weekends, Priestahh's now given his full perspective on the situation as it unfolded, saying that the unfortunate circumstances back in December did not help his season progress on OpTic. He achieved what he wanted to achieve on the organisation, but also giving the reason why he refused to change to the flex role, which maybe could have saved his career with the Green Wall. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. We're going to move on swiftly from this. Firstly, I thought this is kind of interesting. There was talk about Neptune being a good mid-season addition, or apparently being the best ever. Now look, Neptune, great mid-season addition. Not going to deny that one, right? Look, they've not won an event, sure. And Neptune's certainly up there in terms of mid-season additions in recent times. But yeah, back in the day, there were some changes, as Clay says in the replies, when Clay came into Col, when Karma came into Col. So, you know, Clayster in for Too Quick initially, and then shortly afterwards they dropped Clay for Karma, and they got even better. Probably, maybe the most notable that maybe you guys might remember is Simp to United, when they made the change for JCap in middle of 2019. Simp came into United, played his first event in London, had like a 1.3, and was just immediately the best player of the game. Basically, it was actually kind of a joke. And then, of course, he went on to win the playoffs, then the World Championship and the MVP. So, yeah, the Simp for United one, at least in recent times, is very difficult to top. I know that that was 2019 now, so it does seem like a rather long time ago. Neptune, like, is certainly up there, I guess. But, yeah, there have been players that have made more impact and have won more as a result. So, this statement's a little bit faded. But still, he's in the convo. I think in the CDL era, you're probably saying maybe Insight in Toronto, like in Cold War, right, for Toronto. Coming in for Zinni, controversial at the time, but it worked out. You know, they really started to win things at that point. They won things that, you know, they won the event at Major 2 shortly after they decided to make that change. So probably in the CDL era, it's that. If Neptune goes on to win an event with Surge, then absolutely that is a conversation to be had. At least in the CDL era, right? All time will be more difficult to justify. 8's going down as always. Drazah grinding that one out. Just a couple of quick comments on dealership, right? Because Rewind is in. I think most people are pretty happy with Rewind, Search and Destroy being back. The dealership edition is questionable for many, right? So if you guys didn't know, Skyline is now gone from the S&D map pool, Vault is gone too, and it's Rewind and Dealership Search and Destroy that are in. Now, the last couple of days, the pros have been scrimming these for the first time, and ReeaL says Dealership S&D with, you know, a number of fire emojis. Now, look, what do you guys think? Because I think he's been sarcastic. Maybe I'm wrong. But, you know, Bance is definitely being sarcastic because it's Bance. And he says, first dealership S&D and scrims, and let me tell you, hands down, the best S&D map. Now, I think he's taken the piss. Is ReeaL also taking the piss? Probably, in my opinion. But, look, what's your perspective on it? I don't think it's great. Is it, can you go to both bomb sites? Yeah. So, you know, it's probably better in that sense than Vault was in some regards. And I think I'm excited just to see something different. I mean, even if it's not great, I think it's better for the fans and the scene in general that we do have something else to watch, especially for Search and Destroy. Like, you know, they need to switch things up. I think the CDL have done the right thing. Sure, are the pros going to be happy about it? No. Are the pros ever happy about it? No. Would they have made this decision? No. But, you know, grind was an option, right? I mean, I don't really want to push that too hard, but I made the comment yesterday that there's some Black Ops 3 maps like Exodus or something like that, even a map like Havoc from Black Ops 3 would probably play better than some of the maps that we presently have in the game. And, you know, those maps could probably work without jetpacks, to be fair, with a couple of small adaptations. Not saying they should exactly bring those maps back, but there is something to be said about that. Whereas nowadays, we're struggling for maps. So the point is that the Black Ops 2 map Grinds, which was not a competitive map back then, nowadays it might be worthwhile to consider, right? I mean, maybe the CDL could have thrown that one in. So, you know, the CDL make their decisions. I'm not really sure what they base their decisions off. I don't mind them changing the map pool, but I think that, you know, maybe the maps that they bring in should be better chosen in some way or another. Also, confirmation that the roster lock for the World Championship, so the EWC Club Championship, is the 15th of May, 2025, a week before Major 4 DreamHack Dallas, which is pretty interesting, which kind of says, I guess this is probably fine, right? Because whatever your team is for Major 4 is likely going to be your team for the World Championship, and that's therefore going to be your team for the World Cup, right? So, you know, for the league, it's probably not too much of a big deal. The issue, I guess, is that maybe some teams, let's say they go to DreamHack and they don't do very well, then they don't make it to the World Championship. they may well want to make a change for the World Cup. And I feel like that may still be possible. There's certain maybe ways around it. But yeah, Falcons last year, they won the club championship, basically because they had great teams in like every esport and they entered everything. Whether anyone can actually dethrone the Falcons, because you know, the Falcons have like teams in every esport that a World Cup operates, which gets them points everywhere. Actually beating that is a real challenge because many organizations are not going to have, you know, teams in every single sport that's competing. So, you know, that's not super relevant for the COD stuff, but the top bit certainly is. The other thing to note as well is that whoever wins the Challengers event that goes on at DreamHack Dallas for Major 4, they will go to the Esports World Cup as well. They're going to be one of the guaranteed teams that makes it from the Challenger side. This, I don't know how Shotzzy comes up with this stuff. Who even thinks of this stuff? But here we are with another, you know, Spotsy from Shotzzy, people are calling it. And we're on Hacienda, we're breaking the glass, and then we're diving into the glass and crawling inside, and then you can actually turn around and just sit here without getting prone blocked. So, yeah, pretty crazy stuff. I mean, look at this guy. Like, it's, I would never have thought to do this. Shotzzy thought to do it, and I'm not sure anyone's actually seen this before, really. So it's an interesting spot. I mean, certainly for Search and Destroy. I mean, I'm not sure how useful it's going to be in respawn mode unless you've got time to hold a rotation. But in Search, it's something that's worth considering anyway. But let's talk about Pred and his perspective on the OpTic situation. I thought it was interesting really just to look back on here when Pred played 7 events with OpTic, won 2 championships, including the World Championship, made 3 finals, average placing of 4.4. With Surge, it was, you know, pretty not similar, right? But it was 1 championship, of course, no World Championships, 2 finals appearances. Average placing was significantly worse because sometimes Surge would just turn up and get top 12 for an unknown reason. And this year, definitely a weaker year for him based on the numbers. And, you know, I think it makes sense really for a couple of different reasons. Part of which, of course, is because Pred was not here at the start of the season, right? Not being able to play the first couple of months set him back so much. Look, again, the reason why he wasn't able to play, it's not like he's getting into in great detail, right? So it's kind of, you know, it's difficult to, to really give a good explanation on that as to whether, oh, like, you know, poor Pred, right? Like he couldn't play the first couple of months. I'm not sure that fully describes the situation. But look, aBeZy didn't want to change roles, and it didn't work out with OpTic. He talked about that in some detail last night, and, you know, he got pretty honest about the situation too and says that he's still in good spirits. You know, I imagine that Falcons contract, if he signed it, is probably keeping him in good spirits. According to Shotzzy, as we saw earlier today, he wasn't especially happy when it was confirmed that he was dropped, but in the grand scheme of things, it may work out for both parties.
I did say I always wanted to play for OpTic. I did say I was going to win. I did say all I wanted to do was play for OpTic. I did say all I wanted to do was win a championship for them, and I did both of that. I played for OpTic, and I won everything I could. And at the time, the reason I didn't flex is, one, because, like I said before, I feel like I've always been a good sub. And for me, bro, the biggest thing, chat, the biggest thing, honestly, like, no bullshit, is probably me not being able to play the first 2 months. Me not being able to play the first 2 months was probably the biggest thing. Like, that set me back so much. The flow was just never been able to, like, was never able to establish like a good flow, which sucks because obviously, like, the first time me and Ann got to play, and the first time we actually had a proper year to play and no bullshit happened, obviously we went out and won, and we were like at our peak, like obviously the best. But yeah, I don't know, obviously I came back, it was just tough for us to find the flow. It was just, obviously not just between me and him, it was just everyone. So that's what sucks about it. Can't really change that, but you know, that's like obviously shit. But yeah, the reason I didn't is because, I mean, we're getting Caesar, so Caesar's gonna flex. So Caesar's gonna flex, that means I don't have to flex, you know? You know what I mean? But yeah, chat, honestly, like, honestly, I don't even want to speak about it too much, to be honest. I'm just looking on to move on, bro. I'm just trying to move on, you know what I'm saying? This year's been a movie. This year's been his movie, bro. I'm just trying to keep it moving, you know what I'm saying? Keep it moving. I came to the team, achieved what I set out to achieve. My goals was to reach, you know, world championship, win tournaments. I did that, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, I achieved what I achieved. People can go say what the fuck they want to say. For me, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Time to fucking move on. But I promise you, chat, I'm in high spirits, bro. I promise you, I'm in high spirits. I mean, we went fucking 0-18. Like, obviously, shit was wrong, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go too into depth about every little thing. People want to talk about me and Ant's pacing. We went 0-18. I'm sure if I ran a little quicker, maybe something could have changed. Like, there's a lot of shit that could have went A lot of shit could have changed. That's for sure. And no chat. I didn't want to go to flex because I've been a top 5, top 4 sub the last 3 years. Why the fuck would I go flex? I've been a top 4, top 5 sub my whole career. Why the fuck would I go flex?
Prid's perspective on not changing roles, I think, is the most fascinating thing for me in this whole situation, right? Because the team was clearly chalked, and Prid knows it was chalked because he literally says that, well, we were 0-18, obviously something had to change. Obviously, Shotzzy said the same thing. So something clearly had to give. Things were going to change. Things were going to change, and Prid seemingly was unwilling, I mean, literally says it, to change roles because he's been a top sub on the last, in the most recent games, which, sure, that's true, but also I think that Shotzzy has his questions on the Prid's playstyle, and maybe Prid's playstyle in this game would be better suited to the AR role. I actually think that's almost certainly true, just the way that I've watched things over the last few weeks, because the way that Prid plays this game from an SMG perspective, I don't think is bang on. Like, compared to a lot of the other top SMGs right now, it's not, I don't think it's how Shotzzy wants to play the game from an SMG side. I don't think it's how a lot of the other top SMGs would play the game. And look, Prid's playstyle is what it is, and he's made it work in many games before very successfully. But BO6, the way that the maps are especially, to me, is just a little bit different. Prid's an incredibly talented player. He can run the flex if he wanted to. Like, we've seen him pick up the AR before on occasion. There was even this clip that was going around last night here on the Hacienda. I think this clip sums up a bit of Prid's playstyle quite well, right? Because, look, he's making a very sensible play. Probably another player slides in here, right, and tries to take a bit more space. Prid stays in the corner, gets 1 kill, guns the second guy, switches to the AR, and guns down 2 more. So, look, I'm not saying that this one clip proves that he could be an insane flex, but, Prid making a very sensible play here, absolutely, and he guns down a nice little 4-piece with some great shots. This is what he does. And maybe playing a little bit in the slower role on the flex actually could make a lot of sense. But Prid's opinion was, he's been a top sub for years, that's not going to be changing this time, and therefore he's unwilling to compromise seemingly at all. And look, at the end of the day, that was his downfall, I think, from this OpTic team. But if I'm like Karma or I'm Shotzzy and I'm thinking about this situation and we're saying to Prid, like, hey, do you think about swapping with Kenny maybe, go into the AR, Kenny can run the sub as he's done in the past, and you're telling me no chance I'm doing that. You guys should figure out what the issue is and how we can solve it. That strikes me as someone who's not really here to try and do everything to make the team win. That would just be my read on it, right? Because if Prid's unwilling to compromise, unwilling to change, then what's the team to do but to say, well, okay, we're going to get rid of you then, and we're going to find Skies to flex, and we're going to find somebody else instead. I mean, that's what Prid said, is that, well, they're bringing in Skies to flex instead of Kenny. Seems like to me, Prid was saying to the team, like, look, no, I'm running the sub, we're changing Kenny out, right? Like, instead of me changing and keeping Kenny, I'm going to stay as I am, and you're going to change Kenny for Skies. And they did that, and, but still, like, the discrepancy there between doing everything it takes for the team, in my opinion, that would have been a problem if I'm OpTic and I've lost 18 maps in a row and my teammates telling me that they're unwilling to change. That's my perspective. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Of course, how's Prid going to get on at his next adventure over on what we think may well be the Falcons? That is certainly a question mark, but very much intrigued to your thoughts and comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Hector, why did you drop hook the first time? So I thought it'd be fun. I thought we were gonna have so much fun doing that, and there's just no reason, just blindly making decisions out here.
Oh my god!
Thank you for the inside Hector.
Oh my god!
Why? Because the sky was blue, and I was just like, ah, man, fuck it, let's do this.